there. P-A-I-D-E-I-A. Deep education, deep cultivation, deep maturation. Because education is a process of learning how to die in order to be reborn and become more mature and develop as you make your way from womb to tomb. And I've come here tonight to especially tell the young brothers and sisters of all colors, University of Alabama, I want you all to learn how to die in order to live. Class in that wonderful moment where you recognize, if even for an instant, that your worldview rests on pudding. You're completely disoriented and discombobulated because all of the various forms of stories and narratives that your mama and your daddy and your grandmother and your grandfather told you require critique even as you love them. Just read Shakespeare's Hamlet. You can't deal with the corpses at the end. You just finished Toni Morrison's Beloved, and you took the text and threw it against the wall when Suther cut the neck of that precious beloved in order to make sure that she was not dirtied up by the white supremacist aftermath that she thought her precious child would have to overgo. You can't deal with Tennessee Williams' Streetcar Named Desire because that American Hamlet, Blanche DuBois, living in a world of make-believe when reality comes in and crushes her in such a way that if she's not dependent on the kindness of strangers, she's going to end up mad in an insane asylum. That's tough, isn't it? Oh, yes. That's when you leave your class and say, you know, this education is a serious thing. Oh, my God. Who would think I would be pushed against the wall in that way? Yesterday I was reading Kafka's The Metamorphosis and discovered, lo and behold, that huge foul vermin that he's transformed into has something to do with my own alienation and my own sense of being ruthless and deracinated. And in that moment, you are completely overcome by a form of questioning in which certain assumptions that you have held on to must be given up. Certain presuppositions that you're holding on to must be called into question. Certain dogmas that you've been trying to somehow predicate your truncated existence on needs to be, how would James Brown put it, give it up, turn it loose. Give it up, turn it loose. And that's a form of death, because anytime you give up assumption, presupposition, dogma, prejudice, something is dying in you so that something can be reborn. That's what Montaigne meant when he says to philosophize is to learn how to die. The very inventor of the essay itself was modern age. Or even Seneca. We don't expect too much profundity from the Romans. If he or she learns how to die, unlearns slavery. Look at our moment on Wall Street right now. Dogma of free marketeering, unregulated markets, deregulated markets, living in a world of make-believe, speculation based on foreign borrowing, no disclosure or transparency, conflict of interest within the market itself, leading toward what? The collapse of a house of cards, and lo and behold, reality comes back to assert itself. Certain dogma resulting in an inability to move forward. And need I add, in Alabama, the dogma of white supremacy. Oh, if that dogma had not been contested, called into question, pushed back, still around, but pushed back. What does democracy look like? That's true for any form of ideology that loses sight of the humanity of other people. No democracy can flower and flourish as long as certain dogmas are not willing to die that stand in the way of staying in track of the humanity of other people. I'm talking about male supremacy in all of its vicious forms. I'm talking about